This is Lucky, and I am currently driving for Project 6 with Asanda as the navigator. So, the first chapter project we have for Project 6 is create a recursive function. So, in this project, we are supposed to create a recursive function that counts up to 10, which invokes the function. Then we have to invoke the function with different start numbers as the arguments that are passed into the function, and the function would run until the value is greater than 10. So going to my code, I have declared this variable here which stores this function, and it's called count. And then it takes a parameter of I, and then it's gonna log I, and then if I, this is gonna be the base case, if I is less than 10, it's going to return the count plus 1, which will just keep adding as we keep calling. We are calling the function within the function, and it's just going to keep adding until this case is no longer met anymore. So as soon as I is equal to or greater than, yeah, just greater, not equal to, greater than 10, it's going to return. And then when we call it, the parameter I is any number that we want to start with. So currently it's 0, and if I run this code on my console, hopefully I don't get those. Yes, so it's 0 1 2 up until 10, but then we can change it. We can start at 5 if we'd like to, and then if I refresh, you can see it counts until it gets to 5, until it gets to 10. So yes, that is recursion. And then swiftly moving along to our second project, which is to set a timeout order. In this project, we are supposed to use the arrow formats to create functions that output values 1 and 2 to the console, right? And then if I just open up my code, as you can see, that's what we have here. Inputs 1 and 2 up to the console, and then we have to create a third function that outputs the value 3 to the console, and then it invokes the first two functions. As you can see here, this is our function 3, and then you can see the first thing it does is to log 3, the string 3, into the console, and then after it invokes the first two functions that we made. And then lastly, we have to create a fourth function that outputs the word 4 to the console, and also uses set timeout in order to invoke the first function immediately and the third function. Okay, so we have this here, and then it's supposed to output the value 4. So we can also use, so we can use a set timeout. I'm just gonna make this 1000 milliseconds, and then if I run this on my browser, let me just open up the console. As you can see, okay, let me just refresh so we can, as you can see, it outputs 4, it logs 4, and then after logging 4, it sets a timeout to log the value 1, but then since there's no timeout for the others, for function 3, remember, it logs 3, then 1, then 2, so that's what we get here, 3, 1, and 2. And then after 1000 milliseconds, we get that 1 here. We can change that 1 to be 4 if we'd like. And you see, okay. Yeah.
What infinite?
Okay. Let me just open it again.
Maybe try 2, and let's see what it says if we put 2.
Yeah, it works with 2. It did it twice for some reason, but yeah, it works with 2. And yeah, that's all. That's what happens when we call the function. It
I think with 2, it did it twice. It didn't do it twice. I think it's
oh
because of the
yeah,
other one.
it's
Yeah.
because of the other one. I think when I put 4 here, it thinks it's the function, and then it just keeps
Yeah.
calling the function infinitely. So I can use any value except 4. I think if I use like the number 4, do you think it'll
Maybe
work?
if you had put your set timeout into the let three and the upper one, then maybe you could call for.
Yeah. Let me see if it works when I put a number. Okay, it doesn't work. But yeah, that is the what was required of us from the textbook. So in summary, in this chapter we've covered functions, and functions are great for building block, for building blocks that we can use to reuse the lines of code, and we can give our functions parameters. Sometimes we can give them names, sometimes they can be anonymous, uh, sometimes we can store them in variables, and they can sometimes also return a result, and we do so by using the return keyword, and we can use the return at the place where we call a function, and we can store the results in a variable or using another function. Like I said, we dealt with scopes here, as we kept calling things in and within and out of scope, and we also used recursive functions, as was the case in project 1, which is a shorter way of doing a loop. So that's where I'd like to conclude. Thank you.